We're rolling along with Dan Bakkedahl. He's an actor. He's been in a million things, and I'll tell you some of those things in a minute. But Dinner with the Parents is his latest project, currently available to stream on Amazon Freevee. I didn't know there was an Amazon Freevee.
Neither did anybody else.
Dan has done tons of TV shows, and I'll tell you some of those, but also movies like Action Point, Trumbo, Get Hard, The Heat. So Dan has been there and done that. Good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, man. It sounds impressive when you just read it in the little list. If you don't consider it's taken like 20 years to get 4 movies, it sounds like I've really accomplished some shit.
It is nice. I'll tell you, one of the nicer parts about doing press is you got some guy and he's like, you know him from The Man Show. He created Crank Yankers. He's a New York Times bestseller. His cock is super wide. Yeah. He's an amazing lover. And you're just sort of sitting there going, yeah, it's kind of nice receiving this every
You were
once in a
wondering
while.
what the hell ever happened to that guy. Here he is. That's what I'm experiencing. Yeah.
Well, so we know you're out here in L.A. now.
Yeah.
You're an improv guy.
Yeah, I did. I went to school in Florida, Florida State, and then went out on the road with a theater company and went through Chicago and saw the Second City. And it was awful. But the pictures on the wall were, you know them all. I mean, it's Bill Murray and Gilda Radner and on and on and on, right? And I went, well, I'm going to come here and work at this place because the show's awful. Clearly, I could get in here. And that's how I got into improv was I'm going to move to Chicago. I'm going to try that. And then I found out that I loved it.
It's interesting. So I was told when I was about 23 to go see a Groundlings show.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about Groundlings or improv or theater or anything. I was just working on a construction site. But I went and saw a Groundlings show and I was like, oh, man, I want to be up there.
Right.
And I guess most people don't have that reaction.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, what do they say? They say that it's like the number one thing people are afraid of after death, or no, before death is public speaking. So it's like they'd rather be dead than speaking publicly. So no, going to a theater and getting on stage is not something they want to do.
Maybe we could compromise, which is they would do their own eulogy.
That'd be a good idea.
That way they'd be dead.
Fucking drop dead, and we kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, so I guess when, it's not quite this dramatic, but you go to a stadium and you see Evel Knievel jump over 15 buses, and everybody thinks, I'd never do that. But there's a handful of people who think, I want to try that.
Well, give me a break. I mean, when you saw Smokey and the Bandit the first time, didn't you go out and raise a little hell afterwards? Like, I know I saw Smokey and the Bandit and I went, let's get a shopping cart and see if we can, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to go nuts at the mall with the shopping cart afterwards.
I raised a little hell about 35 minutes ago.
Yeah.
In a race car on the street.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And I got a thing that I'd never gotten before in my life. And maybe we should all hope we get this signal from someone sitting in a car. So I got a race car and I'm taking it to Laguna Seca to do the historics at Monterey. Big race, big car weekend coming up middle of August. And so now is about the time you have to start sorting out the car a little bit because you have to see what's wrong with it and what it's going to, you got to shake it out a little bit. There's going to be stuff you need to figure out with the race car. But the problem is it's a big hassle and big expense to tow it to a track in the high desert where you should be doing it. So I thought maybe I could just figure this out on the city streets out in Glendale. Now, all I needed to know is, does it have the close competition comp box or the mid comp box, which means second and third are different.
Okay.
And I would know it if I drove it. It's a longer gear or a shorter gear anyway. But there's no baffles and there's no exhaust. It's just an open exhaust and open intake, and it's loud as shit. And the only way I'm going to figure it out is if I rev it up a little and then pop it into third and see how long it is. It's a Datsun 2000 Roadster. I'm looking at Emmy over there, which is the car. Yeah, well, you can find a picture of it anyway, just so you know what we're talking about. So the only way I'm going to be able to shake this thing out is if I go up this back hill in the city streets and throw some revs at it and then drop it into third. Unfortunately, there's people going about their day, and this thing has an open side exhaust. And as I'm throwing the revs and pulling up the hill and getting ready to drop it into third, I see a guy sitting on the side in a truck, and I get something I never got before. I got the hand out the window, his hand with the slow it down flap.
Wow.
The universal slow it down flap, followed quickly by the FU.
Wow, right to the finger.
I've got to slow it down. And I've got the FU, but I never got them in combination.
Together.
I got 3 flaps of slow it, 1 big FU, and all I could do is pull the R's and go past the guy again. And he has no context. He thinks there's just some old guy hot rodding like around the neighborhood.
Someone just got the life-ending diagnosis and decided to go out in a race car on the street. And
he doesn't know. Yeah, he thinks it's a bucket list thing, or maybe that's the way I want to go out. He doesn't know the third gear, second gear, RPM, comp box.
We barely know it, and you just explained it to us. So
it's got to be fun to drive by the "Drive like your kids live here" sign in a race car.
Yeah,
drop the hammer as you go by that sign.
It's really the sound of the car, of the race cars, that people don't.
Is it super high? Is it high pitched? Is it like a?
I don't think people know what an internal combustion engine sounds like on an open header.
When there's no muffler,
there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a straight pipe comes out, turns, and just spits out into the air. And they also don't know that the intake, all the filter, the air filter on the carburetors dampen the sound a lot. And when it's wide open, just carburetor trumpets, it's one big loud mess. It wakes up everyone in the neighborhood. But it had to be done.
Yeah, well, clearly, I mean, you want to be safe.
I didn't have my seatbelt on. I wasn't wearing a helmet.
You didn't have your seatbelt on, and you weren't wearing a helmet.
Well, the reason I didn't have the seatbelt on is it's a 6-way harness, and it's a real hassle to get in and out of, and I was just going to be gone for a minute.
Yeah, and you watched that Columbia disaster documentary recently, and you were like, what the hell is this going to do for me anyway? Right?
Oh,
I mean, they got like a 5-point harness, and it's like, what does this do for me? Really?
I didn't see that doc. You're talking about the space shuttle.
Yeah, the second one, the one that blew up over Beaumont, Texas. It's really great. What's cool about it is there's some accountability in it that never comes home. The 2 people that you go, oh, that guy fucked up. He made a bad decision. He has refused to participate in the documentary.
Are we talking about Morton Diacol O-ring?
No, this is the one where it was because the fuel tanks. I mean, of course, this is big to me because I was a Florida kid, so we watched the space shuttle. You'd stand in your backyard and you go, there goes the space shuttle. So when the Challenger exploded, we were all at school looking up in the sky going, oh, shit, Challenger exploded.
You could see it?
Yeah, you could see the single smoke and then the 2 of the rocket boosters and then all just like the detritus coming down, right? But on this one, I guess it was the foam on the fuel tank. Mm-hmm. And they had known for years that pieces of this are falling off. And one time it damaged one of the rocket boosters. But don't worry about it. It's not going to do anything damaging enough. And on takeoff, they noticed a piece came off, hit the left wing, and there was like a puff. And they went, oh, that's weird. Do we tell these people or not? And they decided not to tell the crew, hey, your craft might be compromised. We're just going to go with it and hope that everything's okay. They could have used a satellite to look at it. They could have scrubbed all the missions and said, get out there and take a look at the wing. They could have done a million things. And they didn't do anything.
They could have shut it down.
They could have shut it down, and they were like, well, we don't want to panic them. We don't want to panic people on the ground. Let's just go for it. And the 2 people that said, we're not going to do anything about it are the 2 that did not participate in the documentary.
Yeah, that's normally how.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't
expect.
Look, that's the way I get it. Like they're probably like, no, I never worked at NASA. No, I changed my name and I work at Publix now. You know, like
I don't think we have those out here.
No, we don't. It's a grocery store.
But if you travel
this
enough,
is an international.
It's international.
Everybody in the world is listening to this.
We're mostly heard in Dade County.
That's it. Yeah, Miami-Dade County just went, oh, Publix.
So
this guy gets it.
All right, this is going to bring us to something that has been bothering me. But you brought up docs, and I got to bring up docs.
Yeah.
Okay. So something happened about the time it started with the series winning time. The Lakers
the Lakers.
Everyone loved that.
Yeah.
Everyone but Jerry West.
And me. I don't give a shit.
All right. But Jerry West. By the way, what happened? Jerry West just died 10 minutes ago, right?
Yep.
Really, the last thing he did before he died is watch 3 seasons of him being played as an alcoholic, asshole, horrible strategist, racist, essentially. His character, Jerry West, in that series was like kicking puppies and dropping N-bombs, and it was like, is this really who Jerry West was? And then I think he was also sort of a buffoon. He's like, we need to.
It kind of puts me in mind of what was the Jordan one that was all about the dynasty with Phil Jackson and all that.
Dance.
The Last
and
Dance.
even that, where they're not doing any dramatization of anything. Everything is like actual footage. Even that, you go, editing can make a story anything you want it to be. I'm not questioning the validity of the story, but I look at it and I go,
Michael Jordan was a producer on the documentary about Michael Jordan.
Right.
That's
so the fact that Luke Longley appears in the thing at all is unbelievable, because you would figure he'd be like, not Luke. But that would be a pretty big hole.
Listen, you can cook docs because famously, there's Mark Garagos, attorney friend of mine, who was representing Michael Jackson, and they put a secret recorder on their private jet. Somebody snuck a recording device, put it in the cabin of the private jet. They were taking off from Vegas, going to Neverland or something, and they were going to record all their private, attorney-client privilege conversations. And then Mark found out about it, and they were trying to extort them and whatever it was. So in the doc, they're talking about young boys being scared, young boys being frightened of coming forward and speaking out about Michael Jackson. And then they cut to Mark Garagos in front of a presser, like pounding his fist on a dais, going, if anyone speaks out or tries this again, I will bury them. And it seems like he's saying, if there's any 12-year-olds who were ever diddled by an adult, I will sue their ass into oblivion. But he's not talking about that. Right. He's talking about being secretly recorded. Of course, they just clip that part off and then make him look like the worst person in the world. He's the second worst person in the world, but they make him look like the worst person in the world. You can cook docs.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everything is context, right? I mean, you can clip a thing and we can make you say anything we want. That's what's going to be great about this is when you're done, you're going to have me saying all kinds of horrible shit.
Well, we'll wait for you to run for Senate. Wait for you to run for Senator.
I was thinking that was my next choice was like, well, I played a congressman on Veep for 8 years. I bet I could do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'd be popular enough. A face like this probably isn't going to get a lot of votes. And maybe if I ran in Minnesota, I'd do okay. Because I got the right name and the right look.
Plus, you have that Somali vibe.
That's true.
I really
get that Somali vibe. I'm dangerous.
So, all right. So, now I'm digressing. But in the series Winning Time, which I enjoyed, they started showing old footage or footage that they would give a look to, like Super 8 footage.
Right.
Like, oh, this is back. They started really, Winning Time's not a doc, but they were doing a kind of like back in the day archival. And they started adding this weird square outline that looked like the outline of an iPhone in the left side of the screen. And I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but it bugged the shit out of me because I have hypervigilance and I notice everything on the screen. And then at some point I get angry at people who don't notice things, but it kept popping up.
Felt like he was pointing at me there.
I am. Well, nobody noticed, but it was a whole doc where they kept having this weird floating, it looked like the ghost of an outline of an iPhone.
Just in one corner?
And it's sort of left mid-side. And so I said, what is that? And they go, well, that's Super 8. So they're adding this effect, like almost like putting a patina on a new piece of wood flooring.
Right,
we're going to distress it and give it a barn look, you know what I mean? But it was a patina, But it was like some of, that's what Super 8. Now, this is old archival footage, right? So I was like, all right, artistic license. And then I started watching the Bon Jovi doc, and that thing started popping up again. And then people would argue. They'd go, well, maybe that was Super 8 footage from back in the day, in the 80s when they're on tour. But then it was like gray-haired Bon Jovi, and that shit started popping up again. And then I watched Brats, the Brat Pack doc,
Right.
and they said modern day footage of Rob Lowe with the stupid ghost of a. Now, no one has any idea what I'm talking about, right? It is
No.
all over. Okay,
Unfortunately.
we need to see if we'll see it. We'll take a look. Look at the screen, and everybody question themselves.
On your tombstone, I think I heard you say this.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
Emilio
got it.
Brat Pack Estivus will be your epitaph.
I did. I said it last year.
Did you? Yeah.
Well,
And it's, you know.
What are we doing here, people? This is not archival footage
I think
of
that
two
we have
old
no
guys
control of
talking. This
how
is
we're
from
remembered.
April.
The toothpaste it's out of the tube. It's not coming back. And so I
Is it
think
gonna pop
for-
up again?
for us,
Is
it's
it is it a maneuver they're
No,
doing that's
Harvard, then
supposed
you
to
can
tug at
stop
our
it.
heartstrings? It's supposed to make us think
No.
of the old days?
I'll
or
tell you
is
what
there-
happened. That's
Because that's a
Bratz.
sensitive moment.
Now you got to find Bon Jovi too.
Are they-
No. Here's what happened. Somebody did it, and now everyone is going to do it. It's going to be in every doc. I am telling you. I saw it. I was like, "This is bullshit." And then every doc I saw after is now shoving it on, and they're playing so fast and loose with it that they're doing it over the characters in modern time.
Are they potentially using a Super 8 camera as the second
No.
cam there? No.
Impossible.
No, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying, which if that was a clip
Don't be an
of-
apologist,
of
Joe.
these two
I'm
guys.
I'm
Stop
questioning.
apologizing for
If
these
this is a
hacks.
video of these two guys 40 years ago on the set of Repo Man, I'd be like, okay,
Right.
maybe I'll give you that license to make that choice. But I think you're right. I think it was a thing of, and someone in a control room somewhere went, I like that look, do that. Yeah, but Mike, it doesn't fit. I don't give a shit. You get paid to do what I tell you to do. Go put that on there.
I
'Cause we want that look.
saw him do it on Winning Time, and now
Yeah.
we're going to do it with Bon Jovi. You can find Bon Jovi on there. Oh, we
You
have.
sound very mad at John Bon Jovi. I don't know.
You know what? I'm fine with Bon Jovi.
Okay, good.
Sort of.
I mean, as far as Jerseyans go, he's all right, right? I mean, he's no Springsteen, but
No, but as I've stated, he says, I don't like Springsteen. Okay, can we just announce that Glory Days is a shitty song? Bump, ba-da-na, bump,
But I don't think he was. I don't think anybody's ever. Well, some people argue, but I wouldn't argue that he's the most amazing musician. But I will say,
Oh, the people that love him are really
I do love him.
vehement.
I stood for 3.5 hours at the last show, and I
I've seen
can't
him and I
stand
love him
anywhere.
I love him too.
But I
that
never
song
thought it was
sucks.
amazing music as much as it was. There's moments that make me. I don't know. It's almost like the Super 8 patina put over a thing where I go like, oh yeah, 10th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. All right, so wait a minute. Didn't we have it? All right, there it is. There's
Oh, man.
all right, now we got it for Bon Jovi. Okay. This is Bon Jovi with a full head of gray hair. Taken a year ago, and yet here we go. We got the weird fucking Super 8 thing. Kids, everybody, parents, sit down and talk to your children and explain to them that they're going to have a life that's going to be filled with a useless cutout square on the left hand of their screen that will be smattered all over every doc that's made henceforth. And then at some point, it's going to go away. And then you can get into it with them about global warming. But let's really prioritize here. And be prepared for every human being you talk to have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Now, what is going on in life? I have hypervigilance. That's true. Why is it I could talk to 100 people that saw all 5 parts of this doc and they would have no idea what I was talking about? This thing takes up 15% of the screen and it keeps popping up and it moves. Why will no human being acknowledge it or notice it? And if not, why are they doing it? Because no one sees it.
Well, I think you nailed it. Though. Like if they did it in Winning Time and they felt like it gave a feeling of a time, great. But like you said, this is modern day John Bon Jovi with the holes for the cog on a film strip showing. I mean, like that was a mistake when that would happen in real life.
Do we need a sanctioning body? Could I
why not?
show
I
up
mean,
and go,
let's
look,
do it."
I'll let you use this Fako device on young Bon Jovi, but not old Bon Jovi? Clearly, this wasn't shot on Super 8.
No, I think that you should run with that. And maybe that's a new career path for you.
Be like
that's going to be your thing. You're going to be the
governing
guy
body of documentaries.
where it's like, well, we're just about done, but we got to get the Carolla cut first.
We'll call it.
We'll get that Super 8 shit out of there. You know what he's going to say.
Doc Scrutineer, where I'm just going through every inch of your doc circling
But
stuff.
you're doing it on an old-fashioned microfiche thing, too.
I got a
Very
China
old school.
marker out,
Yeah.
circling stuff.
That's it.
Unnecessary use of the Super 8 patina.
It is weird. It's
Is it insulting? I feel like I'm being attacked.
I'm not assaulted. I'm not.
You don't feel victimized by this?
No, not at all.
You
In fact, what I think is, I think that is exactly what's wrong with show business. Is that's a lazy fucking move.
Yes.
That somebody thought, "Ooh, that looks neat," without considering. But why would you do it?
Okay. Here's the even more insidious part of show business than this. They just go, that other guy did it. And now we're doing it.
Right. Well,
because that's what we're doing now.
Look, it's The
and
Office.
it's going to be on everything now.
The Office did the handheld,
Right.
the documentary style comedy show, and now we've got 100 of them. Modern Family worked. I think Abbott Elementary works, but a lot of them it doesn't work. There's no purpose to it. The reason on The Office was this was a BBC documentary about average life in a shitty little town office.
Right.
But now we're going to use that on a family, but never talk about it being an autobiography. Now we're using it in elementary school, never commenting that, oh, this is a biography about a school. It's just the technique because we've become accustomed. Remember when NYPD Blue first started doing that handheld stuff and you'd see that like whip around?
Yeah.
And, USA Today and everybody on TV was mad about how disarming it was to see the camera shake like that. Now everybody does it.
Right. So
and because Adam McKay is, respected and he did Winning Time, now you get the people that are pretending.
Yeah.
It's like after Pulp Fiction came out, I was like, can I watch a movie in chronological order again?
Right.
Can I see the story in the order it's happened?
Yeah, no, it's totally true. They rip everything off, especially if something's successful, and it's now just going to be part of the landscape for every new doc that comes out. I guarantee whatever's in the queue over at Netflix, the 13 docs they have waiting to drop in the next 3 weeks, all have this fake, weird bullshit outline thing. But for the guy who does it or invented that graphic, and it's shiny and it moves, got a little bit of a space saucer kind of neon thing to it. But to me, the more interesting part of it is that there's nobody who will ever notice it, which is an interesting part of the human brain, right?
Well, I mean, then what's the purpose? I mean, if the purpose of it was to transport us to a different time, but we're not noticing it, then it's not working.
I have a deeper thought.
Go for it.
I'm not comfortable sharing it with you at this time.
Okay, well then let's turn off the mics.
Finish.
We'll come back in 5 minutes.
I think that it's still effective because most people are sort of vulnerable from a suggestion standpoint.
Oh, sure,
you know, and they have seen it, but they don't know they've seen it, but they feel that they got the message, the feel of it. How many millions, like as someone who does comedy for a living and just notices everything and is just bothered by everything, I say to people all the time, the commercial with the guy and the thing and the phone and the oversized, and I go, I've never seen it. And I go, the commercial, and the guy, I've never seen it. That's the thing about, I've never, and then you show them the commercial, they go, oh yeah, the one with the guy and the oversized phone. It's like, yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
You just people don't know what they've seen.
Well, I feel like this was like a behind the music technique that was used in the 90s to great effect when you're showing, young Steve Perry out on the road. It's used well, but I think you're right. The subliminal element to it of like, we don't realize that we're being sold this fake nostalgia over a current moment.
But also, is there no guardrails and is there no person, no voice of reason in that edit bay can go, look, I get the Super 8 patina for back in the day, St. Elmo's Fire, they're driving in the Jeep. Yeah, put it in there. That'll add a little flavor.
Yeah.
This was shot in Rob Lowe's kitchen in 2024 in Malibu, and they're both 60. Why we're getting a little too happy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think that we all know the real answer, which is ultimately there's somebody who was justifying their job that day and said, damn it, I said I want that Super 8 thing in the car. Look, you've worked enough in this business to know that every now and then someone walks in and makes a decision based on their own fear that changes the look of a thing, and everyone else goes, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we changing this? And it's like, because he said we have to, and he's the boss, and that's the buck stops
here. It might
here.
just be sour grapes for me, because I've made 5 documentaries without the Super 8 thing.
Well,
and I probably wish I had put
man,
it in now.
My wife always says, and I get my wife and my mom mixed up all the time.
Healthy.
My wife always says, who's the doctor for you? So you got to start putting that shit in your documentaries, or else people aren't going to stand up and salute.
We have Garagos in the Michael Jackson, by the way, vid, where they cooked it. That will play you, or at least it's on my screen to play.
God, Ron Jeremy used to look so good.
Land on you like a ton of bricks. We will land on you like a hammer. If you do anything to besmirch this man's reputation, anything to intrude on his privacy in any way that's actionable, we will unleash a legal torrent like you've never seen.
All right.
Michael called.
So they just snipped out 3 seconds in the middle where he was kind of referring to the being bugged on the plane and turned it into, if you come at this guy and say he molested you as a youth, we will destroy. That's a little dangerous.
That's
in terms
a huge
of,
difference.
That's a cheap fake right there.
Well, that's that 1 degree difference that once you get 1,000 miles away from the point of embarkation, you're hundreds of miles off the mark. You know what I mean? Like you make a small adjustment like that, and you've created a giant leap of common sense. I mean, you've left out the context.
You've also made a guy seem like the worst person alive,
right?
Which screaming at.
Truth be told, about that documentary, like, you didn't have to do you didn't have to lean into this very much.
No,
most of us watching it were going, I know, I'm prepared. This is going to be awful, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. All right. In other news, somebody just sent me an email that in Malibu, they just sent a record, which is, they set a record for $210 million, most expensive home in Malibu. Sorry, Jay-Z and Beyonce, but Whitey's back on top. You guys had it at 200. Now you're going to have to do something. Add a wing on or something. I don't know how that works, but $210 million to live in Malibu. And do we have a clip, by the way, of it? I think we do. Thanks.
From time to time, we have featured hot properties looking at high-end homes on the real estate market.
So the hottest property of them all in Southern California has just sold for a staggering sum. Skyfox overhead. Oakley Sunglasses founder James Jannard has sold his Malibu mansion for a record-breaking $210 million. Wow. The highest home sale price ever in California. It beats out Jay-Z and Beyonce, who paid $200 million for their mega mansion last year. This estate was bought by a Delaware-based limited liability company. Talk about buy low, sell high. Jannard purchased the mansion in 2012 for $75 million. Wow. So it nearly tripled in value. Wow. I mean, what do you do with all those rooms?
One big party. All the relatives coming over.
I mean, when you look at it and you get a sense of all the different grounds, and I mean, you could throw quite a party. I mean, you could live with somebody, your spouse, and not even know you're living in the same house.
Now you're talking. Or you can just drown them in the palatial pool in the back and really not
They really should. They should cut to the control room and them going, move on, stop vamping. You suck at this.
There's a lot going on there. Congratulations.
I do love when people do that. It's a Bugatti Veyron capable of 310 miles an hour. Who's going to drive? Okay, bitch, that's not the point. Yes, the Rolex Submariner's good for 20 fathoms, but you're not 20 fathoms. Like that's the point. Nobody needs 28 rooms and 45 bathrooms.
No, I have a huge record collection, 50% of which I never even look at, let alone listen to. You know, some of them are because it's like, I got that one. No, I don't want to.
You got the vinyl?
Yeah. Don't even listen to it.
What's the jewel in the crown of the record collection?
I'm not like a big, I don't spend a lot. I just buy the shit. I'd say my favorite record is probably a Frank Zappa record. Some shitty
titties
old
and beer.
Exactly, like some weird old live album of his that I got for $8. There's a $20 record. Nothing huge.
I think the real smell test for any collector of anything is when you die. Are your loved ones going to throw this shit away?
Oh, yeah.
And if they
my
do,
kids will be throwing that shit out for sure.
Or they might put it in one of those skeet shooters or something.
Could be. Or they could go on eBay. I mean, during the pandemic, I sold half of my collection just because I was bored. And I was like, well, let's sell some shit and have something to do because there's no work to do. So I was selling, and I made around $3,000 selling half of my records.
Really?
I probably spent $2,500 on them. So it's not like I made a big amount of money, but there's money in them. There's always money in the banana stand, Adam. And there's always many in the records.
I don't know gay slang, but keep going.
You don't?
No, I don't know about the banana stand.
Always one in the banana stand.
So my point is $210 million, and from Fox Skycam 19 Stater Brothers, a copter. That thing is up on a bluff. It's on the good side of PCH. It's on the ocean side of PCH.
Right, the fireproof side of PCH. Keep going. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, although it'll jump PCH every once in a while. But there are structures that are closer to the actual water on PCH, and I pass them driving down PCH every day, and those are Winnebagos that now are scattered all the way down PCH, and people are setting up little playgrounds and pup tents and kids' toys. So you can pay $210 million and live by the ocean on PCH, or you can do it for free. I filmed this. I took a film of this a month ago. There's more. There's more of them now, and I have no idea what the plan is in LA. It's like, I don't know what the property taxes are on $210 million worth of home, but millions of dollars a year in property taxes, or you just live rent-free closer to the ocean. You feel the spray of the ocean where these guys are living. What the fuck is going on with Los Angeles? What is the plan?
I don't think that there is a plan.
There's no plan.
I don't think there's a plan, but I think they're also terrified to have a plan. Because they know full well that 50% of the population is going to go, fuck that plan. Right? So they're automatically going to...
So just no plan.
It's always, if we do this, we're going to offend that half. We're going to take no stance whatsoever. But wait till a mobile home parks in front of your fucking house.
Yeah.
And you're coming out with your garbage cans. You got a different opinion. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had a incident on my driveway, pulling in with my kid.
What part of the city are you in?
Sherman Oaks. So it's kind of to be expected, but still.
No.
We're paying ridiculous taxes.
Let me explain something.
Yeah.
I've lived here my entire life. It's not to be expected.
I just mean now, I don't mean forever.
Yes.
I mean now.
This homelessness was never, and it was limited to Skid Row, like deep downtown, places you'd never go, just places you'd never go. And at some point, it just spilled into every facet. And also the thing that's crazy about the Winnebagos, which is insane.
You gotta love the Google Maps. Also includes all of the holy shit.
Okay, but here's the whole thing about the Winnebagos. They're not brand new. They're old beaters that people paid $4,000 for and probably had towed there. They're fucked up. They're busted up. They're dirty. So when you drive down PCH, instead of looking at Azure Seas, you see the side, you see a white trash tableau. It is a tableau of drug abuse, white trashdom. So instead of looking at the best view in the world, you look at the side of drug addicts' shacks.
Yeah, it's rough.
Can somebody just go, hey,
That's why if your house does not have PCH between you and the ocean, you can sell it for $210 million.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
That's what makes it $210 million.
Right.
No RV between you and the ocean.
Here's my whole thing. There are cops. PCH is one of the most patrolled areas on the planet because there's a lot of accidents and there's a lot of speeding, there's a lot of whatever. I got pulled over going down PCH. It's 45. I was going 55, and I got pulled over. Now, because I'm the ace man, the cop walked up and he looked at me and he goes, "Get any new cars?" And I was like, all right, this guy. Only thing I'm signing is a headshot, bro. If I get any car related, whatever, when that guy turns the corner and looks into my window and asks anything about cars, we're good.
You're in the clear.
But they pull people over routinely all day, every day on PCH. But somehow the 35-foot rusted out Winnebago bucket just right under the radar. No problemo.
Well,
there's
supposed to be a rule about like no parking over 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah, overnight.
But it doesn't. That's the thing.
But who's in charge?
Nobody.
Oh, so tell me about your Sherman Oaks driveway.
My kid was at boxing. I was bringing him home from boxing. I'm pulling in the drive. He's 13, and I'm pulling in the driveway, and there's a person camping in my driveway.
Oh, really?
Like full on fucking everything they own in the driveway. And my first impulse is like, shit. And then my next impulse is the fear of like, I got to protect my kid.
Unleash the pugilist.
Well, listen, I don't know how to. Yeah, the 13-year-old.
Tell him, is he orthodox?
He knows how to bob and weave, and that's about it right now. But and I immediately go into my default is motherfuckers and get as loud as I possibly can and as tall as I possibly can while I go get the dogs type of thing. Just like, we're not going to discuss this because at first I go, hey, you can't sleep here. And then I find out this person isn't speaking modern Earth.
Right.
Like they're shouting epithets and all kinds of crazy shit.
You were hoping they were like, it's the guy from Veep.
Yeah, no. I was really hoping that it'd just be like, oh shit, man, sorry, I didn't know. And I'd be like, yeah, dude, come on, it's a driveway. No, none of that. And the kid, of course, is like, what's happening, Dad? And I'm like, go in the house, which I probably said in a tone that scared him because then he was like, Mom, up at the door, pounding on the door. But I called the cops and they're like, yeah. 45 minutes go by, nothing. I'm still trying to get this woman off my driveway. What is my option the taxes I pay are insane. What is my option? I don't want to physically grab somebody because now I'm on my own security cameras accosting a human being, right?
Oh, you turn a hose on that guy, not only would that guy possibly lawyer up and sue you, but when they would play the footage from the Ring doorbell cam to the Yentas on The View, every single one of those bitches would side with the guy with the load in his pants, speaking gibberish.
And if they could see my kid who's at the door crying, snot coming down his nose, it's like, well, where does it begin? Where does it end? Where is my comfort and your comfort when they collide on my property? I think that's where it ends. It's my property. I'm the one paying all this shit.
Well... to try to make you feel a little bit better, there was an article, and maybe we have a clip of the worst run city in America. I think they just came out. Somebody sent this to me too, but I think Joe pulled a clip of it.
We don't have the clip of the worst run city.
Oh, I thought you said you had that clip, but there's an article.
Yes, there is an article.
And the article is basically San Francisco wins for... the worst run city. LA's in there, top 5.
Yeah, I bet you Portland is pretty high up there.
Yeah, wherever it's deep blue, it's always a shit show, which is sort of to say, like, look, I'm not uptight. I'm all for the gay marriage and legalize the weed and stuff, but there's certain things that group doesn't do well, and running cities is one of them.
Yeah.
So, the article is,
it is from a study according to Wallet Hub that measured 148 of the country's largest metropolises. San Francisco was the worst ranked city in the study, how they spend and manage public funds.
Right.
And Oakland, second. So right across the bridge.
That Bay Area. They've always had a rivalry, those two cities.
Who's on top now, Oakland?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's like the Giants winning the pennant.
Exactly.
All right. It's a shit show.
Flint, Michigan, 5th, by the way, which, how bad is your city that you're topping the city without clean water?
Right.
By 4 places.
Lead comes out of the spigot.
Everybody left Flint 10 years ago, and it's still not as bad as San Francisco. But San Francisco wasn't. 10 years ago, San Francisco wasn't, it was still a city. It was nuts, but it wasn't what it is now. It's gone insane.
Yeah, there's something about West Coast blue that is just drive it into the ground. And nobody, but we don't want any different. I mean, we won't vote any different. And it doesn't matter how many homeless people you step over. But there's a clip of London Breed, who's the mayor of San Francisco, and she's in a debate, I guess another mayoral candidate, and I think she's got a solution for how to fix and get San Francisco back to its former glory. We have that clip.
You were at the debate last week and couldn't name any drag queens on your own. I was wondering if you could, this is an opportunity to redeem yourself. And if you could name 3 LGBTQ advisors for your campaign and 3 drag queens in San Francisco.
So the problems are going to be solved like real fast.
What? I don't even understand.
This is the time we're living in, and my mom, if she was alive, would vote for that lady because she wanted to know where all the drag queens were.
I don't understand. I mean, like what?
You're from Minnesota and Florida.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I understand what you're saying is, hey, where's your inclusion? Where's your people? Okay, fine. You know, hold someone's feet to the fire on that and may the best man win, whatever. But like, what are we talking about? You got to name drag queens? Like,
yeah, and 3 LGBTQ advisors and 3 drag queens. I like that she's putting them on the same. Do you have any LGBTQ in your staff? Also, 3 random drag queens.
Also, name them in case their mom doesn't know.
I would be like Divine, RuPaul, and you. Yeah. And then she'd go, "What do you mean I'm a woman? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a dude. I always thought you were a dude.
I'm just trying to be polite around you.
You're so big and your voice is so low. I just assumed you talked. Oh, so you're not a dude? Oh, that's why you're running the city into the ground. Okay, I got you.
I also like you said, this is an opportunity to redeem yourself.
Yes.
Because she has tried this once before. She expected him to go home and go, I'm not getting caught like that again. Yeah. I need 3 drag queens' names in my pocket.
At all
for
times.
The next time she tries to pull that.
Well, it's like when I was a kid in 8th grade, my dad gave me a quarter and said, put this in your wallet. You never know when you're going to need this, in case you need to make a phone call. This guy's got a list of 3 drag queens in his wallet, just in case.
I knew you were going to try this again.
I don't know.
Yeah. I would have said, hey, bitch, name 3 generals from World War II.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking is it's like name 3 starting quarterbacks. It's as relevant as anything else.
You're the mayor of San Francisco. Name the starting infield of the San Francisco Giants.
Right.
Name the last 5 starting quarterbacks for the San Francisco 49ers.
So, I'm sorry, is there more of this? I want to hear it again just because it's so awesome. By the way, this is the woman in charge of the city that is the worst run city in the United States.
So she's the mayor saying that to an opponent?
Yeah, because she wants to win a 2nd or 3rd term.
Well, as long as we win.
By the way, sorry, Chick Think, new leader in the clubhouse, Dawson. We got to work this out, but this is Chick Think at its of the highest order. Yeah. I'm sorry. Everyone thinks I'm a misogynist prick. Everyone said we need more women in positions of power. Okay, we got it. This is what we got.
And if you could name 3 LGBTQ advisors for your campaign and 3 drag queens in San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco. Well, that's not as easy. You can't say RuPaul. And what's he going to say? Mo, Larry, and Curly.
We're not going to revise the drag queen question from last week. But what I will say is
it's an ongoing
I'm incredibly proud of the support that I have from our LGBTQ plus community.
All right, let's just stop it for a second. I hope this comes up in the presidential debate.
Yeah, I sure hope so, because I bet they're both going to say, what? Drag queen? Don Gartlett's? Is he a queen? I don't know.
All right, we're going to take a break. Maybe we'll do some made-up movie. I'm not sure, but I got a lot more to get into, and we'll do that right after this. Well, let me tell you about Morgan & Morgan. It's 2024, so let's talk about something important. If you get hurt this year, your injury could be worth millions. If you're ever injured, you should check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. over 100 offices nationwide, and more than 1,000 lawyers. Well, they've done more than $20 billion they've recovered for over 500,000 clients. So let's say that's a pretty good track record. Morgan & Morgan is, well, they have a proven track record. That's what I just said. So they can fight to get you the full and fair amount of compensation. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. Racing my vintage cars, well, that can be hard, but submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan, well, that's easy. So if you got an issue, had an injury, talk to my friends over at Morgan & Morgan. Am I right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
Walking around with this glazed look in their eyes and just stumbling. Like this one behind me. Hi, yes. How are you doing?
California.
Oh,
sure.
Okay, because we were just talking about here along Bourbon Street and the STD rate that's been going on here. And so how long have you had an STD?
I don't have an STD.
Oh, then why did you want to talk?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Are you serious?
Nothing to be ashamed of right now.
No, I don't have an STD. That's
okay, yes. Anyway, so
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Wow, good for that reporter.
That's really stunning.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
good.
like you really got to be the fact that she stuck to it and continued to drive is pretty great. To continue to say like, but you do have an STD, as the woman is. Although Bourbon Street, it's kind of easy pickings.
You could probably name 3 drag queens over there in Bourbon Street.
Probably, yeah. But they'd have to be ones from Bourbon Street.
You ever go to Mardi Gras?
No. I wanted to. You know, Tallahassee's not far from New Orleans, and I had friends that always went, and I was like, I don't want to sleep in a car. I don't give a shit what's happening the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to sleep in a car. So I never went.
Yeah. There is the possibility of getting a hotel room.
Not when you're a broke college kid. I mean, like, it was not going to happen. We were way too broke.
Now, you were in a fraternity in college, correct?
Yeah.
Did you ever? Can't you do like the brotherly show up to there?
It was the brotherly stay in the fucking car together, is what it was.
You don't
it was
show up
5
to
of us.
Tulane and
No.
hit him with the handshake. And
I suppose we could have.
Yeah.
To me, it just was like, I don't know, man. I quit drinking years ago because I never gave a shit about anything other than the act of drinking. So I didn't care if we were doing it on Bourbon Street or at a bar or in a living room. I was like, get all the distractions out of the way. Let's just fucking house this. You know, like that was my whole goal. So going somewhere to get drunk was like, why? No, I'm not going to get laid. No one's ever going to fuck me. This is not happening. So I'll stay here and not get laid and get drunk for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I agree. That's very pragmatic.
Well, you know, I had a goal in mind.
You want to get buzzed.
I wanted to get loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go to Tijuana on road trips and sleep on the beach and that kind of stuff.
That's different. I mean, like we would do it in the Key. We go to the Keys, you go to Daytona, you go wherever. It was different, but like New Orleans is just, it can be, I love the city, but I do not want to sleep in a car on the street in New Orleans.
We would go to, God, I could only imagine my kids going somewhere with no place to stay.
Right.
Palm Springs used to be the spring break destination out here. We just went.
Yeah.
We didn't have any money. We didn't have any hotel. I slept on a lounge chair by a pool in a motor lodge. I just slept sprawled out on the chair. Palm Springs was hot enough that it wasn't that big a deal.
Well, that was Key West, was the spring break in Key West and actually Isla Morada, which is about halfway up the Keys. And it's fine at night. Windows are open. But the second that sun comes up, you're up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Completely hungover.
Yeah.
Smoking through your skin like, oh, God, just hell on earth.
Give us your best, most shit-faced travel story. And, Joe, I may need one from you as well.
Ooh, well, we were...
I
did a little theater company after college, and we toured all over, and we wound up in Hays, Kansas. And Kansas sells no booze on Sundays, but you could get 3-2 beer So we bought 3 cases of beer for 2 of us, and we just sat on a dock and just fucking drank them. Just trying to force ourselves.
Low alcohol beer.
But you got
drink
that's
17
exactly.
of them.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to drink 17 of them to get a buzz. And we did that, and then we slept in the van, not on purpose, but we were tanked and got in the van and didn't make it back to the hotel. Hayes, Kansas. Not a great town.
Did you boot?
No, I wasn't much of a barfer. I was a good blackout guy. That was usually the goal. Was like, let's see if I can black out. That was usually what I was going for. I didn't barf too often because I mostly just drank beer. Not until the last couple of years did I start drinking whiskey, which was very effective. Just in case anybody's thinking about getting into it. Yeah. Whiskey's going to help you a hell of a lot better.
Turn it up.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're trying to up your game.
Yeah, right.
Joe, drunken road trip, booze.
Just a couple of years, probably 7-8 years ago now, I was actually performing at the improv at the Harvey's Casino in Lake Tahoe. And 2 days back-to-back golfing. The second day, we're out there, we're drinking on the golf course. We go to the clubhouse after. Somebody bought me a couple of rum and cokes. Then I was given martinis, and it was just a mixing sun, altitude. I went back. I drove about 200 yards from the golf course to the casino. Wasn't that, I wasn't Justin Timberlaking. But I did bump the Souls bumper on my way in, and then I went and passed out and was supposed to do a show, and security wakes me up, lets my friend in who gets me to go. On my way out to the show, throw up in the sink. That's the sign. Don't take me to perform right now. I've just thrown up in the sink. Took me down to perform. I recall nothing from the show, but apparently I went on stage with my fly undone, and a woman said, "Your fly is undone." And I sat down on the front of the stage and had her zip it back up for me. And that was when apparently I was led off stage with a water. You need a water, and you need to come get this water. And I was led off stage, and I was put back into my bed, and I woke up the next day to find out that I apparently went on stage and did about 8 minutes of blacked out comedy.
Nice.
And then I was on the apology tour, calling the entertainment director and the headliner and everybody and saying, I think it was the altitude and the sun and the lack of lunch. And I don't usually drink like this before I go on stage, which was all true. I am a pretty good drinker. I once drank 40 shots of whiskey during Kobe Bryant's final basketball game. I took a shot every time he took a shot.
40 shots.
40 shots in 2 hours.
Well, all right. Let's see if we can work that out. His last game, and he took a lot of shots.
Took 50 shots. I tapped out at 40.
Are these 1 ounce, half ounce? Like what? It can't be 1 ounce.
1 ounce shots.
1 ounce.
And my rule was it was Buffalo Trace. 1 ounce shots of Buffalo Trace. But if he took 2 shots before I could pour one and whatever, I would do Fireball. I would do 2 ounces of Fireball.
Should have led with this one. That's pretty good.
But actually, what's amazing is I prepped for that. 2 days, pasta carbonara, no beer, just water in between, just the shots. It is not the most hungover I've ever been. The most hungover I've ever been was waking up after like 9 drinks on a golf course at altitude in Lake Tahoe.
So, 750 milliliter is like a little bigger than a quart. I always get it backwards one way or the other. But 750 milliliter and a quart is 32. So, I mean, how many ounces in a 750 milliliter, Dawson? So did you put away an entire bottle?
If I had stuck to just the Buffalo Trace, I would have. I put away the better part of a Buffalo Trace bottle, and then a good dent out of some Fireball as well.
Wow!
In 2 hours, and we live broadcast. There's actually audio of this out there, but we live broadcast, and then people started calling. Friends started calling my phone. You have to stop this. It's gone too far.
The president is on the phone.
So it got to the point where I was just getting angry about how selfish Kobe was in the game. I was like, this motherfucker won't stop shooting.
So it's 25 ounces in a 750 milliliter. So you did a bottle and a quarter, basically. Wow. Good on you, man.
Yeah.
That could kill a lot of people.
Yeah, that would kill most people.
And I actually woke up. I did black out. I woke up the next day and found out that I had Ubered somewhere. I Ubered to a girl's apartment.
Wow.
And then Ubered home.
Wow.
But the only recollection I had of that was the Uber, the Uber receipt. And she was like, "Yeah, you were here. You came in. You were pretty drunk." You know?
You kept saying something about Kobe's so selfish.
Yeah.
Kobe's so selfish.
Yeah.
I got too many to get into here. Maybe I'm ashamed of that.
What's the standout one, though?
A fifth is 17 shots. Wait a minute. What's a fifth if a 750 milliliter is 25 shots? A fifth? Well, hold on. Why are you writing?
Also,
17 shots. Oh, I was looking at ounces. Oh, I'm sorry. A fifth is 17 shots. But
so they're going ounce and a half.
They're going ounce and a half, right?
Yeah,
So we have to define what a shot is.
I was taking the 1 ounce shot glass there.
Yeah. Okay.
The one.
I think they're 1.5.
We weren't going to the brim, but we were doing a good. We took down the better part of a Buffalo Trace.
That's impressive. I went to
eat before you drink, kids.
I went to Tijuana. I went to Margaritas Village. Margaritas Village is a downstairs bar. Everything's down below.
Sounds like a solid choice. Yep.
It was. Revolution Street's the main drag, and then steep stairs going down. Tijuana, it's not a good place to walk around drunk because there are no building codes. So it's like step and a half, and everything's dark, and you're like, you're fucked up. The steps are all out of code, right?
Right.
And when you're walking downstairs, you will, if you're 6'2", you're going to whack your head on a piece of stucco. Like, they don't have normal codes, and when you're fucked up, you walk down the street in Tijuana, you step over a formed curb and into a hole. There's no sidewalk there. Like, it's all sort of half done.
Right.
And then we went to Margaritas Village, where they dress up as clowns and old-time prison guards, the waiters, and they dress, they wear roller skates, and they scream, and they give you these slammers where they take tequila and like Sprite, and they put it in a cup, and they slam it on the ground, and then they hold your head, and they dump it down your throat, and then they shake your head violently. And there's nothing you can do about it if somebody orders one. So what you do is you'd go, I'm just drinking beer tonight. I'm not drinking the hard stuff anymore. Right. It's been a while, and I just don't want to go back there. And I'll go, I totally respect that. And then I'd go, I got to go to the bathroom. And then I'd go over there, and I'd go, I'd talk to one of the waiters. I go, see that guy over there from Veep? And he'd go, yes, I love that man. I'd go, come up behind him, give him a pop. And they'd go, yeah, okay. And then you'd be sitting at the table drinking your beer, right. And at some point, the guy just slides in behind you. You have no idea what's going on. And then he grabs your forehead, and he slams it, and he tilts your head back. And the whole place starts screaming, and pow, right down. And you could do as many. If I told him, give him another one, and give him another, they'd just do it. So eventually, I had to throw up. I had to boot. There's too many slammers, fizzy, poppy. And it
was the carbonation, really.
I start heading for the bathroom, and I realize I'm not making it. And I'm still in the restaurant part. But right across from the bathroom is the ice maker, the sliding whatever. And I'm like, it's coming. And I just slide this thing and just boot right into the ice maker. Shut it. Stagger out the back. Pass out in the alley amongst the boxes and the rats and the cockroaches and whatever's in the alley behind the restaurant in Tijuana. I just hit the turf. And the alley had stairs that went up to Revolution, because we're below, like they have in New York, the bar below. But this had a little back alley, and you could go up, walk upstairs. And as I was laying against the wall, sitting amongst the boxes in the back alley, I looked up and I saw a cop standing on the sidewalk under the light at the top on Revolution. And I remember just going, I got to keep my eye on that guy. One eye. If I shut one eye, I could see him better, you know.
Otherwise, there was two.
I got to keep that cop, good cop, bad cop. And then I shut one eye and it was just bad cop, you know. So I was like looking up and I was like, okay, I got to watch this guy. I got to get my head together. I got to clean myself up and I got to get back into the bar. But I need a minute. I need some air out in the alley. And I was just looking up and I was like, okay. And then at some point, I just remember feeling a poke at my knee, at my thigh. And it was a billy club. You may know where this is going.
He goes, Ace Man, you get a new car recently? What are you driving, Ace Man?
He's poking. And I just like look up and the cop just standing on top of me, and I was like, oh, I was going to keep my eye on you, but something happened. And he just looked at me, and he went like, get in the bar or whatever, go inside or something like that. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like I was like bullet dodge. Like I thought he was going to arrest me or try to get some money off me or something. And I just staggered back into the bar.
Ugh.
I think Margarita's Village is still there.
Oh, it sounds like there's no reason for a place like that to close. I mean,
Every time I've ever gone to Mexico, they say, don't get ice in your drink.
Yeah.
And now I know why.
Now I know why.
I was thrown up in the ice machines.
I've booted in that bad boy. All right. What else did I want to talk about? What else? I
have a question for Dan while you're figuring it out.
Go ahead.
I was perusing your bio and looking for a bunch of information on you, Dan, and I realized that you're one of the few people who has seemingly no social media.
No, I have none.
Have you ever, or that's...
I did, yeah.
And you purged yourself
Yeah,
out.
it fucking sucks. I mean, I get it, like, it's different. For stand-ups, you know, I mean, I'm an improviser. Nobody's coming to see my show. I don't give a shit how much I publicize it, so it doesn't matter. But I understand, like, certain people. I have a friend who runs a YouTube channel. He has to be able to put out information to people. I got nothing. I mean, like, I could be publicizing my show, right? But I was on a CBS show. I had 40,000 followers. They're looking for millions of viewers. These 40,000 viewers are not going to save the show and keep it afloat or not. Mm-hmm. And I just was done with it. I said, I can't fucking do it anymore. And they're like, well, we really need. I said, I'm not doing it anymore.
I said to myself, that's how I know he's reached the serious actor portion of his career.
It's really the I don't either want someone pulling up at my house going, what'd you say to me online? Or me being the guy pulling up at someone else's house is really what it was. It was like, I can't take it anymore. I mean, I got friends who love it. They love to get in there. They love to mix it up. They love to start shit. They love to watch people dance. I just couldn't take it. I was there to look at cat videos and check and see how people's kids were doing. You know, like that was it. And I just kind of eventually said, I can't fucking do it anymore.
Just now for looking at cats?
I have an account only because of the MetaQuest, the VR helmet. My son wanted it, so I got it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to give him a Facebook account. So I opened one under a fake bullshit name, and it does nothing. It follows nobody. Nobody follows it. It's just there so that I could, own the helmet.
I got a quick question, subject to get into, and then Dawson's got a drunken story. Limit it to 28 minutes, Dawson, and only 9 stories. But
Dawson's face says he's got a lot of drunken stories.
Tell me if you can figure out this part of life, which I'm constantly amazed by, the lack of situational awareness of just sort of human beings in general, right? So, and it comes up a lot. Like, for instance, I was told I was taking my hot rod out in a race car, and I was shaking it out a little bit. And as luck would have it, when you fire this thing up, it's so loud, it's so obnoxious, and you're so like on the clock because you're like waiting for people to call the cops and honk and stuff. So you want to sort of get in and get out and hurry and like pull back in the garage and shut the door kind of thing, like real Dukes of Hazzard shit. But because the thing has no mirrors and no anything really, when I do this, one of my guys runs out into the street because there's cars parked up along the sidewalk there, and does the hand wave like it's clear, like come on, because it's like blah, 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 and it'll stall really easily, and it's hard to drive when it's slow and stuff. And as he's giving me the come on, it's clear. Wait, a woman in a full-size Range Rover just stops, like almost in front of the driveway, but like a little off to the side, and she just stops there. And my guy's like waving her on, like, come on. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like waving her, and she's just sitting there, which would mean I would have to go all the way around her to the right and be driving into where oncoming traffic was. So there's this loud race car firing up. You got a guy like out in the street. He's like waving her on, like, come on, come on. She goes ahead and then just stops. And is not going anywhere. And I don't know if she's looking for an address or she lives somewhere. She's not parking. She's in the street. She's just parked there. There's all this noise going off. And this guy like telling her, move on, got to get out. And I'm stopped there like, blah, 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 and she's just there. And first off, are these angels that are just sort of sent? Like you try to go like, I pulled this car out of this garage one time in 10 years, and this bitch had to stop her car in the 30-second window that I needed. But also, what is she doing, and what's her situational awareness? And does she not see like a guy in the street who's waving her on, hear the sound of the car and stuff, and like just pull forward a little and kind of tuck in, or just go ahead. Like if you're looking for something on your phone, you're stopped in the middle of the street. What is the situational awareness, just like the assholes who don't notice the Super 8 square, they drive me nuts. And I took an Uber that I remembered the ride though. I took an Uber to Beverly Hills from Malibu on Sunday because my son was meeting me there, and we're going to do the Beverly Hills car show, and then we're going to drive back to Malibu and eat dinner. So I said, I'll Uber out to you. I won't have to find a place to park, so on and so forth. And the Uber comes and picks me up in Malibu. And it's like, the guy who picks me up is a decent-sized guy. I'm a 6'2", 6'3", decent-sized guy. And he's driving a BMW 4 Series, sort of little electric car. But it's four-door, but it's small electric. And then I kind of size him up as I'm walking by. Like, that's a big dude, and his seat is tilted back because he's a big dude. So I go, I'll go around the passenger side. And I go around the passenger side, and the passenger seat just slid all the way back. I had 4.5 inches of knee room. And then I look at his side. He's got 4.5 inches. And then I see on the passenger seats, it looks like a couple of papers or something, not much. And then I, like, lean in, and I go, hey, can you move the seat up so I can get in? And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And he like has to kind of lean over to the opposite side, stretch out because it's next to the door, and like, and he's not going to get it all the way up, but he's going to get up. But it's like, what do you do for a living? Also, you can see me walking out. I'm 6'2". I'm a 6'2" guy. You're watching me walk to the car. Where is it in this vehicle that I shall sit? And what do you do? And then no one sits in the front seat. Why do you need your front seat? Why is the passenger seat all the way back? This is all you do, and you're picking people up. What is that? How does it work? Who is this person?
The supreme selfishness that exists almost exclusively outside my house is astounding to me.
Is it selfishness, or is it just like flat out of it?
I think they have to be selfish in the first place to wander around not being aware of their surroundings. You know, I mean, it's that thing where it's like, well, I need to go in here, so I'm going to stop here. And it's like, yeah, but now you're blocking a line of traffic, and really, you should drive past, come back, and come at it the other way. But I don't want to do it's on the highway. When someone cuts across 6 lanes to make the exit, when they could have just gone 3/4 of a mile further, gotten off, and gone where they're fucking going. It's the same shit. It's the same exact
But
approach.
Doesn't there have to be a dusting of stupidity in this?
For sure.
That this guy doesn't live in Malibu. He drove a long way to get to where I am with the seat all the way back. He can see there's nowhere for anyone to sit in this car, and all he does is pick people up and tell them to get in the back seat. Uber should have a height rating, by the way. Uber should they should know there's a 6-foot dude and not a diminutive Asian woman like coming down the stairs.
It's when you get a car service and you're going to do a show or something out of town and they send a car service, right? And the last one that I had picked me up at LAX to bring me home, and I got in the back seat, and it was one of these Mercedes that's not meant for grown-ups. It's meant for little people.
Right.
And I got in and I went like, oh man, can you move the seat? And he goes, sure. It was already slid up, so he leaned the recline forward so that it's touching the dashboard, but my head is hitting the roof in the back.
Yeah.
And so every time he hits a bump on the shitty 405, my head is slamming into the roof. And I'm like, so now what? So now I had to slide down on my seat with my head cocked. I mean, it was ridiculous after getting off a shitty plane anyway. But I couldn't believe it that I thought, I'm not going to call my manager and go like, hey, next time give me a car that's suitable for a 6'1" person.
Right.
But at the same time, they should, because otherwise don't give me a car. Yeah. I'll just drive and park down there and you can reimburse me.
Remember the good old days when it was just a Lincoln Town Car?
Yes. Yeah. It was just a Lincoln Town car.
It was just one thing.
Make car services town cars again.
And the seat on the passenger
that would
side.
Make a good hat.
Thank you.
The seat on the passenger side would always be up. I'm just saying, who drives for Uber just in general with the passenger seat all the way back and you're 6'3"?
There's no vetting process. There's no vetting process involved in this, I don't think.
Total lack of awareness. I don't know if you saw this, but there was bicyclists that were run over by a guy in Texas. Seemingly, he just hits them without ever seeing them, just like casually driving over. And there's the clip here.
Oh my God! I'm just gonna hurt my teeth. He just comes up behind them.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Whoops!
Stops, then continues driving.
Oh, we run over that guy?
Yeah, he ran over the legs of the one.
Can I listen? I'm not as I'm not squeamish or sensitive, or danger's my middle name. But I see guys riding in packs down PCH every single day, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
No, God,
I don't know
no.
what you're doing. There's so many people that are out of their mind on God knows what pharmaceuticals, or maybe they just watched Kobe's last game, and they're not in their right mind. And it's like, there's so many idiots driving out. I just cited 2 people who you would not want riding behind you if you're riding your 10-speed down PCH.
Do you ride a motorcycle in L.A.?
I rode a motorcycle in L.A. for years
and
when I was younger.
And you don't anymore. Yeah, me neither. I rode in Florida my whole life. I rode in Chicago.
What'd you have?
I had a Kawasaki Vulcan. It was my first street.
V? That's a V.
It was it was a 750. This was would have been a I don't know, a 90 or a 91. I mean, this is old. And then up in Chicago, it was a Yamaha. It was my roommate's bike, but I rode it all the time. And I got out here, and I was like, I'm getting a bike. I went out and I got a Sportster. I was like, I've never had a Harley. I'll get myself a Harley. They were super cheap at the time. It was like $200 down and then $75 a month. I was like, these are my wheels. And I rode for about 2 months before I went, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I would get on the bike and go, okay, I'm not riding today. Like I would have a feeling like I'm not riding today. We were a 1-car family. So it'd be like, honey, I'm taking the Prius, you know? And then during lockdown, again, I had an old Chevelle that I sold because I don't know how to work on cars. So I was like, fuck, I can't do this. Motorcycles don't scare me as much. So I bought a bike. And I think I rode for about 2.5 weeks before I went, I guess I got to go back to the shop and say, I'll take whatever you give me for it because I can't do it. My guts just couldn't get on the road anymore.
Yeah.
In this city.
Yeah.
It's just like I just saw way too much crazy shit.
Yeah. It's carnage out there.
It is.
But
it's nuts.
People are completely out of it and they're texting.
Well, that's and self-involved. And I have a friend who has a theory about the roads in Los Angeles. Apologies to anyone who doesn't live in Los Angeles, but it's the one place where everybody in this city is in charge. Everywhere else in their life, someone has got a thumb on them. But on the road, I'm the fucking boss, and you're not telling me what to do. You're not coming over. You know what I mean? It's suddenly it's the one place where everybody has power, and they're gonna use it today.
The guy hit the cyclist as a drunk driver. So the screen says, Dawson, speaking of drunk.
Yeah, those stories make me hate people, by the way. Every man's an island.
Yeah.
So it was 2006. I was on my first singer-songwriter tour.
Yeah.
Our first show was in a resort, Lake Okoboji, Iowa. northern Iowa. I was full of myself. I thought I was awesome. I go downstairs to the bar. It's about an hour before the show. Introduce myself to the cute bartender and say, let me get a shot at Jack and a Budweiser back. She pulls out a pint glass, sets the pint glass in front of me and starts filling it up with Jack Daniels.
Whoa.
And starts talking to me. So where are you from? Your first time here? And I'm just kind of eyeing this glass. I'm like, okay, that's the way we do it here. So 3 of those later, I had finished my set. This town had just passed a law that you couldn't smoke in bars, but it didn't go in effect.
Well, wait a minute. How was the set?
Awful.
Okay. All right. Well, you skim past the part where you drank 3 tumblers of Jack?
Yeah, that was throughout the night, though. I had one of those before I played my set, and it was awful. You can't play drunk. At one
Did she give you a 1 ounce Budweiser? Was she dyslexic?
Welcome to Okoboji, boy.
At one point, I light a cigarette on stage and say, I heard you guys passed a law against this. I played a whole song with a cigarette dangling out of my mouth. Got booed. Finished my set up sound for Stephen Ashbrook, who I was on tour with, set up sound for him, and then couldn't make it 10 minutes into his set. Now, they gave us the house next door to the bar was where we were going to be able to sleep and crash that night. I barely make it out of the bar, had to climb these huge set of stairs. The bar was right on the lake. Had to climb this huge set of stairs to get back to the house we're staying in. I get into the garage, and as soon as I make it into the garage, I just lie down on the cold pavement of the garage, and it was the greatest feeling I ever had.
You do. You become like a dog or a cat. When you get fucked up enough where, like, you'll see the dogs during the summer on the tile floor in the bathroom.
Right out like a squirrel.
And you go, come on, man, people piss there. But when you get drunk.
So I'm laying on the pavement, and about 20 minutes later, I realize I left my guitar in the bar. And I'm like, oh, fuck. This is a bad way to start a tour. I got to go get my guitar. So I managed to get on my feet. I do that drunken stupor walk where you're leaning forward and you know, just trying to keep your momentum from keeping you from falling down. I get into the bar. Steven's still playing his set. I walk with purpose, grab my guitar, don't say anything to anybody, and then get back. Finally, this time I make it to the bedroom of the house we're staying in. And apparently when I walked through the bar, everyone in the bar took notice. 20 minutes later, the owner of the bar is coming into the house that we're staying in and wants to know if I'm actually alive.
Wow.
And I jump up out of bed like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, hey, what's going on? I'm okay. I was in my early 30s, so the hangover wasn't that bad, but I have never been that wasted in my life. And this was a place where this resort town, people punched the clock. They were checking in and drinking early and staying late, and I never did that again.
All right.
It hurt.
That's a good one. All right, shall we take a break and we'll do some news right after this. Just thrive. Life can be overwhelming, and it's not just your mind that suffers. Stress messes with your digestive system and your immune system, too. Just Calm, the breakthrough new stress-busting formula from Just Thrive, exclusive mood-lifting blend, is clinically proven to help you relax and breathe easier in as little as 4 weeks. And I love the award-winning Just Thrive probiotic. I take it every day, and it makes a difference. I love the couple that started this company. They're passionate about their product. I've spoken to them about it. This is a labor of love for them. Just Thrive's a spore-based probiotic with 1,000 times better survivability than most probiotics, banishes bloat and constipation in your gut so you can produce serotonin. That's your happy hormone. Plus, it supports better sleep. I take it. You should take it too. Just Thrive. All, by the way, with a money-back guarantee. Right, Dawson?
Right now, when you go to JustThriveHealth.com and use promo code Adam, you can get 20% off a 90-day bottle of Just Thrive Probiotic and Just Calm. That's like getting a month for free. And a portion of every purchase goes to Vitamin Angels, a nonprofit organization that saves the lives of millions of children and moms-to-be around the world by ensuring they get the vitamins and minerals they need to stay healthy and strong. To learn more about this groundbreaking company, don't miss Adam's interview with Tina Anderson, founder of Just Thrive. Take control today with Just Thrive.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Well, in the business of keeping your car on the road. That's what they do. Friendly, helpful service and parts and all the knowledge you need. I love these guys. I've always, even before they became a sponsor, a million years. I mean, back when I was renting a house up in La Crescenta, I'd always go to O'Reilly up there on Foothill Boulevard. Still there. Just passed there the other day. Always get my stuff from O'Reilly. Thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online. Check engine light. Is that on? Well, don't ignore it. O'Reilly VersaScan is a free diagnostic service that provides a detailed, easy-to-read report. Need wipers replaced or a brake light fixed? They can help you find the right part or point you in the nearest repair shop so you can get it done that way. And they'll also test your battery for free in or out of the car. Talk to the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Adam, my girlfriend and I, both 48, took my grandmother to Cracker Barrel for lunch one day. The server goes to pitch the mimosas and the beer. Grammy decides she wants to have a mimosa. Never had one before. Server, do you have your ID? My grandmother's 89 years old, period. Would not serve her without her ID.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah. Society's sort of undone now because they make these stupid rules. We need ID or we can't serve whatever. And then that becomes the law of the land. And we take all the thinking and the ability away from people just to make decisions like responsible adults. And then I've had that happen to me. You know, in Phoenix, the fucking 23-year-old douche behind the bar is like, where did you park? You can't have it. It's like, I'm 50 years old. You know what I mean? It's always funny when women get flattered by it, though, because they go, oh, they want to see my ID. It's like they asked that of Nana and the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, wait till the day you don't have your ID with you when they ask for your ID. You're not going to be so flattered anymore.
Right.
You're going to be pissed.
But if Burl Ives' corpse came in here, they would ask the corpse for the ID, or you couldn't.
Golly,
well,
poor
you'll
Burl.
find it, Dawson. You'll find it in my book. It's at the head of, I think, in 50 Years Wolvie Chicks or something, because at some point in Phoenix, some sea captain pulled in next to me, full gray beard guy, and the guy said the same. We'll find it, but anyway. Oh,
It's
wait,
actually
you got
on
it
the
already.
inside jacket.
It's on the inside jacket. So.
A couple years back, I was at the Phoenix Airport bar. It was empty except for one heavy-set, gray-bearded, grizzled guy who looked like he just rode his donkey into town after a long day of panning for silver up in them thar hills. He ordered a Jack Daniels straight up, and that's when I overheard the young guy with the earring behind the bar asking him if he had ID. At first, the old sea captain just laughed, but the guy with the twinkle in his ear asked again. At this point, it became apparent that he was serious. Dan Haggerty's dad fired back. You gotta be kidding me, son. The bartender replied, new policy. Everyone has to show their ID. Then I watched Burl Ives reluctantly reach into his dungarees and pull out his military identification card from World War II.
People think this is progress. This is not being fucking stupid is not progress. That's what I want to say. All right, thank you. Go ahead. We'll do some news, Joe.
After the shock of being asked for his ID yesterday, Donald Sutherland dead at 88.
Oh.
Breaking news this morning.
Man.
Donald Sutherland.
You guys want to smoke some pot?
Yeah. Animal House. Yeah, he was great.
He was
so
great.
many movies. Though I hadn't seen him around in a little while. Wonder how Kiefer's doing. Kiefer probably like to drink a little bit because there's great footage of him just jumping into a Christmas tree.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, that.
Come on.
When you're in a hotel lobby and you just do a full Greg Louganis into a Christmas tree because you think it's a good idea spontaneously.
Yeah.
You don't walk down like as an angry Jew going, why aren't we celebrated during this time of year? No, you just walk into a hotel and you go, what's that Christmas? Fuck it! And you just start running at it. That's drunken behavior.
Well, too, you're a child star whose dad was a star. I mean, there's
You gotta drink.
You got to drink. It's part of the rules.
Speaking of drinking, there was a popular yogurt drink from the 70s called kefir. You guys, are you aware of
you know
this?
what? My wife is born in the Soviet Union, and they drink the shit out of that stuff.
Yeah.
They call it kefir. And
really?
It's like a thick...
It's yogurt. It's liquid yogurt.
It's liquid yogurt, yeah.
Is Kiefer Sutherland spelled the same as Kiefer?
Kefir Sutherland is the most popular
It's
yogurt drink in
Kiefer
Russia.
out here, and it's like... It's a way to get fat and think you're being healthy.
Right.
Because it's really just like drinking a milkshake, because you're just drinking high-calorie yogurt, but it tastes good and it feels healthy.
And they say probiotics. or
Right. And in the 70s, it was like... Kefir was to a milkshake what carob was to chocolate. Like, you'll get equally as fat. It's the same thing calorically. Your liver doesn't know the difference between a Hershey's bar and a chunk of this, but you feel like you're doing something.
Like you're doing something healthy for yourself.
You're doing
today.
something healthy. Like, I didn't eat a Snickers bar. I had
So
a
I
block.
can
I had a
watch
block.
porn.
I had a block of halva.
Right.
It's
So
like,
I can eat I can watch a bunch of porn tonight because I've been good.
I've been a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll bet you, Dawson, you looked up kefir. I'll bet you kefir has the exact same, as higher calorically than drinking a Coca-Cola.
Oh, it's massive. Because when my wife first introduced it to me, I was like, oh, I'll put that on my granola. And I started gaining weight fast. And someone was like, well, what are you doing? And I told them, and they said, that's supposed to be like an eggnog type of thing. Like
Right.
you should have this on occasion, not every morning for breakfast.
Kiefer Sutherland is Kiefer, and kefir, the liquid yogurt, is Kefir.
Yep.
So Donald did not name his son after you, but could have been inspired.
Or he lost that argument with his wife, and he was
Right.
like, I want to name him Kefir. And she was like, no, that's fucking stupid. We're naming him Kiefer.
Yeah.
And it's spelt this way. And he just went, all right, fine. Because
Fine.
he wanted to keep the peace.
Or his wife is
You
like,
win again.
come on, I thought we settled on calling him Yoplait. No, I've changed my mind, Mrs. Knudsen. Yeah, all right. Oh, sad. Well, not that sad. I mean,
88.
you made it to 88 and you have a good run. So be it. Okay.
One serving of Coca-Cola is 140 calories. One serving of kefir is 104 calories.
Oh.
Did you get it? A little less? All right.
I was very impressed when, Dan, you said you sold your record collection or part of your record collection for $3,000.
Wait, what flavor kefir did you do?
Not only that, what is the serving size? Is it both 12 ounces?
Yeah, see, the serving.
I'll bet you the serving size of kefir is 6 to 8.
You're going to Google me right, Dawson. I know you try, but it's not going to work. It's got to be 12 ounces of kefir. That's
12 ounces of Coke is 140 calories.
Right. Now, what is 12 ounces of kefir? Because I guarantee
cup.
it's
Per cup.
It's more. All right. Dawson, you can look that up. Keep going.
How many cups in 12 ounces? How many ounces in a cup? 8?
I think it's 8.
I think it's 8 ounces. So that would be way over the Coke for 12 ounces.
Or marginally above the Coke.
Yeah.
At 106 versus 140.
150 to 140.
8 versus 12. Yeah.
Yeah,
it'd be
so another
just-
half of it would be another 50 calories.
So
Another 53
153
calories.
Yeah.
153 to
All right.
140.
See, I'm right.
Fucking math. We did it.
Fucking math. Here we go.
Anyway, Queen has come over the top of your $3,000 record collection. They have sold their catalog to Sony for over $1 billion.
Oh, so they weren't previously sold because they've been playing the shit out of Queen everywhere all the time. And, Queen was big in the 70s, sort of kind of limped into the 80s, sort of stopped at the 90s, and then just sort of went away with the exception of like when a team would win a championship or occasionally Wayne's World would bring back Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that. But it was kind of few and far between, and now it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
The rights used to belong to Disney. So that would explain it being pumped into the zeitgeist recently. But Sony is buying the rights for $1.27 billion.
Okay, I was going to say, shit, we could have pooled together and gotten that.
Yeah.
It'd be a bargain.
Oh, you just would have to sell a couple your Tony or Orlando albums, and we could have.
That's true.
Cashed that.
Yeah. Knock 3 times.
On the ceiling, if you want me. Ba-na, ba-na. Twice on the pipe. If you ain't gonna show.
Some shit like that. Yeah, that's how it goes. That's it.
Yeah,
oh, my darling.
Bum, bum. Yeah, I was talking about this the other day on the show. Tony Orlando's 2 biggest hits. It's like I can almost hear it. But Tony Orlando's two biggest hits were like weird, obscure signal songs, like "Tie a Yellow Ribbon." He wasn't very verbal. Like he didn't say to someone, "Hey,
let's talk, honey.
I'm getting out of prison now. If I can hang out, then just open the front door.
Put a yellow
I'll be
ribbon
there."
up. Yeah.
He had that, and he couldn't tell his downstairs neighbor, "Hey, if you want some sex, then I'll just call you." He had everything there was a signal for him.
That's it. 3 times.
Looking back, his family's like, was Grandpa on the spectrum?
Yeah, he couldn't.
It's taps and whistles.
He couldn't call his neighbor and ask for a blowjob.
And his 2 background singers just gave him one name. But fuck it, we're gonna call you Dawn because I can't remember how to pronounce Alicia. So fuck it, it's Dawn.
You know, there is precedent for this.
Yeah.
I never thought about this, but there was a variety show with Jeff Altman called Pink Lady and Jeff. And Pink Lady was 2 Japanese pop stars.
Oh, wow.
But it was not called Pink Ladies and Jeff. It was called Pink Lady and Jeff, but Pink Lady was 2 people. So maybe this whole weird pronoun thing with they, like I called my daughter wants to be called they, maybe these people were ahead of the curve.
That's what it is.
With all this stuff. So Dawn, Tony Orlando and Dawn was 2 chicks named Dawn or something, but not plural.
Yeah. Or he's referring to them as morning. Like I couldn't tell if it's Dawn the name or if it's Dawn as in Tony Orlando and welcome to a new dawn.
Also had to be confusing and disappointing for people who knew him because he'd be like in meetings and stuff and he'd go, "Oh," and they'd go, "Is Don with you?" And he'd go, "Yeah, Don's coming. Come on, Don, come in here." And it'd be some schlubby business manager named Don Goldberg or something.
Don Adler.
Everyone was always disappointed. Yeah. Had to be confusing. So Pink Lady was 2 and Don was 2, but not Pink Ladies and Dons.
Right. Well, it's like Jethro Tull is a band, not a person.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a person, but it was the dude they named it after. But yeah.
Spelled differently.
Yes. For sure.
We could probably get high and look at your collection.
We could spend
later
all day looking at that collection. I'll promise you, there's some good stuff in there.
The established Pink Lady act was so fixed in unison that they performed as one entity, so the 2 were not comfortable having separate stage personalities. This is the craziest variety show ever. It's Jeff Altman, who's never funny. He's never funny. He's the guy who you would see on Letterman back in the day going, "Oh, big beefy butt steaks. My dad would come in here and you kind of go, why is he on Letterman all the time?" And the answer is he was a friend from the Comedy Store back in the day. He was like 19, wildly unfunny, and 2 women who spoke no English. And they're going, "We're doing a variety show."
This is in the 70s, I'm guessing?
Yeah, and then everything. Okay, when you can't understand something, okay, when you're confused.
Right.
Here's the way to solve every riddle. It can be, here's the way it can be solved. You ready? Black, gay, or Coke. So meaning if you're sitting around one day and you're just watching daytime TV and a commercial comes on to lease you car rims and you go, who the fuck would lease car? How's this a business? You can't lease. There's no business model in leasing. Black. It'll work, right? And then if somebody says, like if you talk to someone and you go, wait a minute, you're selling a Charlie's Angels lunchbox on eBay for $4 and people are coming to your house and looking at for $4, what kind of business is it's a gay thing. It's a gay hookup thing. And then when you go, how did this variety show ever get on the air in 1970? Like who greenlit this thing? This is the worst thing. Coke.
That's it.
I'm telling you, gay, black, and Coke will solve all of life's mysteries. Whenever you go, why would this?
It's the modern day riddle of the Sphinx, is what it is.
It'll work. You use those three. It'll clear up a lot of questions.
I'm just running through my head of like, what are the shows I watch? And I go, yeah, that one. That's Coke.
Sensation.
Is it
black, gay, or Coke?
Yeah. It'll solve a problem. So this show ran for 4 episodes or something. Was the worst ever. How could it not be? You had literally Jeff Altman's our age, and he was. This is 1979. He was at a TV show. Like he's the white Byron Allen.
Yeah,
but. I mean, how old was Jeff Altman when he did this? And the reason you don't really know who Jeff Altman is because he was never funny. He was just never funny. I don't know why they thought this is a prime time. This is when there were 3 networks where
right.
The viewership was 36 million people. Just pluck this guy up and just go, here you go. Hey, meet 2 women from Japan who speak no English. Get some chemistry going. Let's do some sketches.
That's Coke for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Although there might be a little gay in there too.
Yeah, a little gay. Yeah. 6 episodes, Sid and Marty Krofft.
Oh, that'll do it. Sid and Marty Krofft, that's Coke all over it. Acid. Can you add acid to the list?
Yes. We'll add acid. All right.
Jerry Seinfeld had a heckler at his show in Australia yelling out pro-Palestine from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Jerry Seinfeld roasted the anti-Israel heckler. He solved the Middle East, is what Jerry kept saying from stage. Jerry delivered a lengthy roast against the protester before he was removed from the show, and I believe we have a clip of this.
That's what you have to do. You have to roast them. I didn't know this was in Australia.
We have a genius, ladies and gentlemen. He solved the Middle East. He solved this. It's the Jewish comedians. That's what we have to get. They're the ones doing everything. Yeah, go ahead, keep going. They're going to start punching you in about 3 seconds, so I would try and get all of your genius out so we can all learn from you. It's a comedy show, you moron. Get out of here.
Who are these people?
Yeah, this is so important. Imagine, by the way, imagine if this guy actually did solve the Yes, so you're really influencing everyone here. We're all on your side now because you have made your point so well and in the right venue. You come to the right place for a political conversation.
Did you? I've said this twice a year. When you were a child, did you envision adults being how they are now?
No, God, no. Well, they weren't that way.
Oh, maybe they weren't. You're right.
I don't think they were.
That's the age-old question. Were they always that way, or is this No,
I think it changed. But I want to say this. Oh God, Jerry Seinfeld already. For me, I look at that clip and I think, boy, Jerry is really shitting his pants. He didn't handle that great, I don't think. I think he was sweating his fucking balls off, going, oh, fuck, what do I do? And you go, I don't know, Jerry. He's been bitching about not being allowed to be funny for decades. Now, I've got a friend who's a stand-up who does big fucking shows like that, And he still
Well, who
delivers.
is he?
Jim Jeffries. Because we did a show together. Yeah, you know Jim.
Sure.
And I have watched Jim from
Australia would be a home gig for him.
Yeah, exactly. 10 or 11 years ago, we did that show. And I've watched his act evolve throughout the years as his points of view and whatever, right, have evolved. I've never heard Jim once go, well, they won't let me be funny anymore. Shut the fuck up. You're still allowed to be funny. Just actually be funny. Mm-hmm. That's the thing I think Jerry's missing is he's not that funny anymore. And it's not that he didn't create the greatest fucking television show in the history of the world, in my opinion.
Pink Lady and Jeff.
Pink Lady and Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen,
it was his coke.
Shit about Jeff Altman, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with you
talking about. Don't talk shit about Jerry. He'll come after us.
So I'm kind of. I'll straddle the fence here.
Sure. Well, you've stood there. I've never stood in that spot in front of an audience, doing my routine.
Here's what I will say. The comedians that go can't be funny anymore because the PC police, nonsense. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But there still is a PC culture, and it affects probably working. It doesn't really affect stand-up, but it would affect if you had a Dave Chappelle and he did Netflix, and then they protest against the Netflix special or something. There's some of that. So I feel like everyone is correct, but Seinfeld shouldn't work the angle of not allowed to do comedy anymore.
After decades of being allowed to do anything and everything he's wanted, including doing nothing or riding around in a car talking to his friends or whatever. No shade whatsoever.
I like older, angrier Seinfeld.
But remember when George Carlin got older and angrier?
Yeah.
I thought he was still funny.
Yeah.
Like I still thought he was funny because George was funny. Just a funny person anyway, just across the board. I feel like Jerry's very serious.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, I worked on The Daily Show, and Jon Stewart was very fucking serious.
Jon Stewart is by nature a extremely serious person.
Yeah. I would agree.
Ultra serious.
And I'm not. And I think that, probably led to me not having such a great experience there. But
I shouldn't defend Seinfeld because he mocked me.
There you go. See, I'm on. Let's fucking mock him.
The headline, Jerry roasts, like you said,
that wasn't a roast.
The greatest
That wasn't a roast.
It certainly wasn't the worst response to a heckler, which of course goes to his castmate on Seinfeld, Kramer. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's...
Jerry's
that's
like,
rough.
I can't, don't be that bad.
Don't watch that video.
Anything above that.
Yeah, I got a big laugh of, okay, Byron, put the Sound of Hope. Was that we saw it? Was the Sound of Hope? I gotta get Sound of Freedom, Sound of Hope.
Sound of Hope, yeah. Sound of Hope.
Oh, you know it. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I told Mike August. I think I told you too. We watched the whole. It's an all-black movie about a real story about a black preacher and his wife, and they adopt thousands.
I just saw this poster.
They adopt 1,000 black kids, and it's really good and it's powerful. It is. I think it's a movie that has a cast of 151 black people and one white chick in it. And after the show, and we'll play it for you guys at a later date, but I was going to go up on stage and sit with the cast and be a moderator, and get up and moderate the cast and take questions and interview the director and all that stuff. And so as the movie was winding down, Mike August and I were in the Irvine Improv watching it in a booth, and I just leaned over and I said, I'm going to have Michael Richards do about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come out there afterward. And he laughed out loud that it was a touching part of the movie. And Mike's like, black kid giving up for adoption. Mike's like, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
All right, sorry, where were we?
We have Elon Musk. Says 2 homicidal maniacs have tried to assassinate him. Elon Musk doesn't want to end up like John Lennon, and he's paranoid one of his fans will try to kill him, just like this slain Beatle singer.
Yeah.
Tesla honcho opened up at a recent shareholder meeting about precautions he's needed to take since his notoriety has skyrocketed in recent years. And he claims that at least 2 homicidal maniacs have already attempted to take his life.
That makes sense to me. I have, in terms of adults, and like we were talking about, there's adults I need and then adults I don't need. And, I'll be even-handed and say many of them are in my family. The ones I don't actually need.
Don't need
people.
them.
Don't need them.
Just saddled with them.
We're saddled with them, but don't need them. And then there's like Mayor London Breed, who wants to quiz people on trannies before the debate. Don't need her. She's not going to solve any problems. She's not going to get us to colonize Mars. She's not going to get us a tunnel under the Sepulveda Pass so we can hop in our Hyperloop and whatever. I need Elon Musk. I do not need the ladies from the Squad, and I don't need the ladies from The View, and I don't need any politician in Los Angeles. Like, I don't need any of these people, but I kind of need Elon. And I also like the idea that they declared war on the guy who's solving all of the Earth's problems. But I need this guy, so I want him protected.
What is it you need him for, though?
I need him
because you don't drive an electric vehicle, do you?
I have an electric vehicle. Okay. It's not a Tesla.
No, but even then, the reason we have so many electric vehicles is because of Tesla. I mean, we got him. He figured it out and then shared it. And
I bought an electric Audi, which is not on the Tesla charge infrastructure. Right. It's on the Charge America one, which are broken down, crowded, not useful, and can't.
I'm going back to internal combustion because I can't fucking deal with the chargers anymore.
Right,
it's bullshit.
But when you're driving around looking for a place to charge your Audi, you pass 17 Tesla charging stations, and it's like. So here's what I would say. We're not at a point in our society where you can drive an electric car full time unless it's a Tesla, in which case we do have the infrastructure for that. So for that alone, and then the Neuralink where, the monkey can get the scientists to kill for him because that's where we're going.
Right, exactly.
I mean? Right now.
No, I just was curious because I look at it and I think he's given me everything I need. I could get rid of him now. I mean, he's kind of like a former WWE champion where it's like, you did it already. Yeah. Just go do something else now. You're going to be the champ again? Like, nobody's going to be impressed.
Well, I need his boring company to put a tunnel through the Sepulveda Pass.
That would be nice. Yeah.
I'd do that.
But he did say he was going to do that 10 years ago.
That, to me, I don't think he's going to be able to do that one.
I don't think so either.
You can't, first off, can you imagine... In Los Angeles, the permitting process for building a pergola in your backyard, that's a 3-year process, right? Imagine like to bore a 40-foot fucking tunnel through the Sepulveda Pass.
We have to figure out who owns all that land underneath.
Oh, my, it's undoable.
The house.
It's undoable.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And there's going to be one bitch from like the Sierra Club who's going to talk about some indigenous gopher or something, and then things going to be sitting in the courts for
ground
9
owls,
years. Yes, ground owls.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. All right. Let's do another one.
All right.
Jeff Altman was 29 when he was in Pink Lane. Well, wait a minute. How old is Jeff Altman now, then? He's got to be 74, 3 or 2? Oh, he's 72 now, huh? Do you guys remember him?
No.
That picture looks familiar. Like, I feel like I saw plenty of him, like you said, like on Letterman and things like that. Like, he's one of those guys that would pop up and you go, what's this guy doing here again?
Well, get a clip of Altman from Letterman back in the day. His whole thing, his thing was big, beefy butt steaks, which you could... back in the day, you could be a comedian. You could have a thing. Just the thing you said, and you could get by. It was kind of a, latter-day get her done. You
just had no respect.
Right. And you could do that. You don't have to call me Johnny. You can call me Ray, or you can call me Ray J, but don't call me Johnny. And it was like they just do their pattern. It was like a pattern of rap. And he did this thing where he'd play his dad, and he'd kind of pull his pants up high. Kind of Chris Farley, like in a van down by the river kind of move, like dad hiking his pants up, and he's like, and these big beefy butt steaks. And I remember being like 19, like home watching Letterman going, what? And then I was like, why is he on Letterman twice a year? And it's an old Comedy Store thing, Sorry. We'll play it. I'll see if we can figure it out.
I'm real good.
Nice to have you here. You look terrific.
Oh, boy, I'm so good.
What's the matter?
Do you see a little fly or a parakeet in my nose right now?
There's nothing. Sit down. There's nothing.
There's a bat There's a big bat in my nose.
There's not a nose. Just sit down. There's nothing in your nose.
Sure.
Small pair of pliers.
There's a pliers in
No,
there,
there's
huh?
no pliers.
Yeah.
How are you? You look good. You look like you just had a meal.
Just had a big meal, Dave.
What
and
do you have?
It was
when you go out, what do you have?
Oh, a butt steak. I'll have a 20-pound butt steak. Just no garnish, no fries, just a 22-pound butt steak.
Yeah. And
Yep, a butt steak. this is the end of the cow.
yeah, I see. You're not talking about a flank steak that a guy would roll up or anything, are you?
Flank?
Yeah. What it would be like?
It's a butt steak.
All right.
A big butt steak.
All right, do you guys know what's going on comedically?
No, but I mean, when he goes right to
Hold
the
on,
camera-
did I exaggerate?
No, you didn't exactly. This is like a dress rehearsal for a Robin Williams appearance on Letterman, is what it is. If Jim Carrey was doing it, it's like this guy is like the child of those two guys. They twisting his face this way. There's no real sense behind anything he's saying. It's non sequitur bullshit.
Maybe we should play a little more.
We're all going to go home and watch a lot.
Curious, like why?
As far as gay, black, and Coke goes, he gave it away when the first thing he said, "Is there anything in my nose?"
Well, that's a good point.
Just want a 22-pound butt steak.
Do you see a hamburger or a little fillet in my nose?
See, there's the Robin Williams.
Please,
Now here comes the Jim. He's going to
yeah.
screw up his face
So you
for
had a pretty good
little Jim
meal.
Carrey action.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
But can we get serious for a second?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
There's the Jim Carrey.
All right.
I had something very, very strange happen.
I heard about this, and I don't believe this is true.
Well, it is. If I could just take a second to tell you about it. I'm sure folks here have had somebody come to their door you didn't want, somebody menacing,
A
horrible.
solicitor or something?
This was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. I'm getting ready to take a shower. I got a towel around my waist. Knock on the door. I open the door. I live out in San Fernando Valley. I crack the door like this. I'm looking at a guy dressed up completely like Santa Claus.
What time of year was this?
This was 2 days ago.
Oh.
So I said, "What do you want?" He goes, I have a promotional copy of my album. Here's my album." I said, "I don't want your." He pulls it out of a sack. I said, "I don't want your." He says, "Oh yeah, it's me and my monkey." The guy's dressed up like, so I think to myself, I don't want it. I start closing the door, and as I do, he puts the album over his head, and like automatically, his fly unzips, and a small gibbon crawls out.
Small monkey.
A gibbon.
A gibbon.
A baby gibbon.
It's not like a butt steak, is it?
Not a butt steak. Not like a butt steak.
Is there a part on a gibbon that could be identified as a butt steak?
Well, you can have a gibbon steak.
Yeah.
But
Crawls out, literally crawls out, and I'm terrified. I feel the guy, and
The
I said,
guy's monkey climbs right out of his pants.
And I said, "Sir." This is true. I swear to God, this is true. I swear to God, this is true. I said, "Get him out of my house now."
He's in the monkey is in your house.
No, the man in the Santa Claus is standing there, and he looks in my face and goes just like this.
Meow. Meow. All right.
I've got
we can stop. Does anyone know what's going on? This is fucking Letterman. This is like the biggest comedic showcase of the era.
You've done these shows, so you know there's a pre-interview where it's like, here's what you're going to talk about and shit.
Here, you
this
be
was not
the interviewer
fucking
for
pre-interview.
Letterman, all right? I've done the Letterman twice, but go ahead. You be the pre-interviewer.
The pre-interview. Do you got any? Are there any interesting stories that you might want to
I
share?
got a butt steak.
Okay, well, we're not going to do the butt steak thing because it's a little weird.
About a big beefy butt steak.
But Dave specifically said he doesn't want you doing the butt
Dave's got
steak.
a butt steak.
All right, we're just going to go ahead with
I
this
got a
butt steak
gibbon
thing.
crawl.
We'll just have to cut it out. We'll just have to cut
Is there a butt steak in my nose?
Precisely.
Jesus Christ.
He's like the unfunny Larry Miller. He's got a Larry Miller thing going on, too.
He's the unfunny Larry Miller. I love Larry Miller. I remember watching this when I was like 20 going, I don't know anything about comedy. Like, I'm cleaning carpets for a living. I've never been on stage, but I do know what I like and what I don't like. And I don't know what it's not that. It was that, and I don't know what this is. I didn't know why.
Well, like I said, that's
he's
almost
doing panel, too.
Chapter and verse of a Robin Williams appearance on Letterman, where it's like, "Please welcome Robin Williams," and he comes like, and then he climbs the stairs and he comes down and he sits down and he drinks Dave's coffee, and Dave goes, "All right, stop it." And then he finally settles down, talks about Shakes the Clown or whatever the fuck. No, that would be Bobcat. But
Robin Williams is good friends with Bobcat.
Well, And
So
there you go.
your connection.
That's
is fine.
why I got them mixed
That's
up in
why
my
I got
head.
them mixed up.
Also, I idolized both of them when I was a teenager. Like, oh, I'm going to be one of these guys. This is where it's at.
Are we Letterman or Bobcat or
Bobcat and Robin? Those were
you
the
love
two that I was
Bobcat
like,
and
oh,
Robin.
fuck, I loved them. I was the perfect age for it. It was like every movie, One Crazy Summer, there's that guy doing that weird voice,
Yeah, Bobcat's a friend. Known him since Kevin and Bean days, 90s. He used to come in all the time. It's a good dude. He's a good director. I mean, he directed.
I think his movies are great. The films that he directed are great.
We used to get him to direct a lot of Man Show bits.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I remember a few, but I don't remember all the Bobcat bits, but that was fun. So Jimmy and I were friends with him sort of back when we were peons and nobody's at the radio station, and Bob would come in as kind of the big star, but he liked us, and we'd hung out a little, and then later on we got a TV show, and then we hired him to direct bits for us. One day I'll figure out the Bobcat bits from the Man Show, because he must have done a dozen of them.
Do you know
they're well done.
The theory, Bobcat directed Robin Williams, and I think it was World's Greatest Dad.
World's Greatest Dad, yeah.
And
Really
there's
good
a scene
movie.
where he autoerotic asphyxiation.
With the butt steak.
Yeah, the butt steak. There's a theory that Robin didn't actually commit suicide and that he was doing the belt, the jerking off with the belt thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he had, I don't know, Lewy body dementia or something. He had a horrible disease.
Yeah.
So, anybody who dies of, if somebody kills themselves, when their body is riddled with a horrible disease, I don't really count it as a suicide. And if I were St. Peter, I wouldn't count it as a suicide. I'd be like, you were going to drown in your own saliva 2 months from now, so you went out on your own terms, if that's what happened.
You got a terminal diagnosis, so you ate a handful of pills, I'll give you a pass.
If you're St. Peter.
Yeah, if I'm an imaginary fucking angel sitting at the gates of heaven that doesn't exist.
You got to watch the language if you're going to be an angel.
Yeah, I'm not going to be an angel.
St. Peter doing the pre-interview for heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the butt steak.
No, more butt steak up here.
Did I oversell or undersell that?
No, I think you nailed it. You hit it on the head. I mean, it was everything.
But you were thinking, oh, come on, he's going on Letterman. He can't just sit there and talk about
I was
butt
like,
steak.
but I've already watched it. It was exact.
Right, but you think maybe I would use a little hyperbole and he would come up with a funny story.
You might
or
have
something.
undersold it in that respect.
Think I did.
I think he was a bit more intense than I expected. That's the funny thing about Robin on that show was always I would go oh, here he goes. I never went oh, here we go with this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought he's going for it. He's going to take this moment to create something different in this moment that nobody else has the guts to do, which sometimes is what we call comedy.
You remember Bobcat got banned from the Tonight Show.
I don't
remember that
no.
story? Well, you claim to be an expert
What
on
did he do?
Bobcat Goldthwait.
No, I never
come in here.
I never
with
said I
your
was an
chest
expert.
all puffed out.
I don't even know what his real name is.
Your bio saying the world's foremost
Wait a
Bobcat
minute.
Goldthwait.
That's bullshit. Who typed that?
I saw it, but you typed it yourself.
Did you get that off my social media? Because then that's not
It's
me.
from your Facebook.
That's not me.
You
I don't even
claim
have
to have the Blu-ray of Shakes the Clown.
with downtown Julie Brown. No, the other Julie Brown.
To know all the dialogue from Scrooged. Okay.
Yeah, just Carol Kane's lines.
You do not recall, and you're gonna recall, Bobcat set the chair on fire. Joe, you remember this?
What is this?
On the Tonight Show?
You both. I don't want to say sick. I don't want to say sicken me.
Younger.
You know what, Joe? You don't get to fucking play that card because you're like a guy.
Now that gray in your beard.
You're a professional baseball player. You're of a certain age, and you never heard of Manny Mota because you claim he's younger than you. Bullshit. You do comedy. You should know this reference. All right. Bobcat Goldthwait sets the Tonight Show on fire. Sorry, we'll play it.
Really? I think they need more role models like me. Really? Yeah, that's the problem with Americans' youth today. Then what else? I think, it is sweeps, and I love Jay very much, and I thought, well, what if I don't know, what if I set his furniture on fire? No, don't set that on fire.
Well, that'll do it.
Now you have to sit in this. Now sit down, sit down. Sit down, sit down.
Is that Jessica Lange?
It could be Jessica Lange.
You know, Jeff, I'm no stranger to sitting in gas.
All right.
You know why you set a chair on fire? To cook a butt steak.
A big beefy butt steak.
How else you cook a butt steak?
He got banned.
That'll do it.
And he also got probation and like community service from like the Burbank Fire
From
Department.
actual police. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Turns out they have TV sets. And
holy shit.
Yeah.
That's something else.
You guys don't remember that?
I don't remember that
too
happening,
young.
but I have to say that was probably 92 or something. So I wasn't watching TV. All I was trying to do is get
You're passed out of the
loaded.
lake.
Yeah, that's all I was doing. I wasn't watching exactly.
Wow.
That's
All right.
it.
No, listen. Okay. Sorry for being high and mighty. I did not expect you to see it in real time. I don't think I watched it in real time. It's just it made the rounds. Did you hear what Bobcat Goldthwait did last night was a thing? Like, I wasn't there when Justin Timberlake got his DUI, but I'm aware of it.
I got you. Yeah.
It made the rounds.
I don't remember it.
You didn't watch it the next day on social media.
No, I didn't.
1994.
I was close.
Yeah.
So it was after his big, huge explosion of being in all the comedy films. He's probably desperate, trying like hell to become relevant again. So I know what I'll do. I'll bring lighter fluid with me on a talk show and lighter while Jessica Lange's sitting next to me.
He probably also thought Robin would think it was pretty avant-garde and kind of cool,
perhaps,
and
yeah,
interesting.
But here's a funny
counter-culture.
Back to the Jerry Seinfeld thing. I was watching an episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. He was with, I can't remember her name, Bridget. So anyway, she's got a great show on HBO.
The big blonde?
Yes. And he was talking to her, and she said, "Oh, I'm friends with beep," and they beeped it out. And he goes, I hate that guy. He's the and Jerry took 10 minutes of his own show to run down another comic who he doesn't like. Fine, whatever. It's your show. No, but it was it was Bobcat.
Oh.
And it's like, but why are you taking so much time out of your show when we as an audience don't know who you're talking about because they never say the name? It was only through Google that I was able to put it together.
Yeah.
And I went like, what a petty child to like take. I'm like,
you got to get back on
I'm
the
after
sauce.
Jerry all of a sudden. Yeah, that's the problem. If I were drinking, I'd think Jerry was still hilarious.
Jerry's like, these days you can't light a chair on fire anymore because cancel culture will come after
exactly.
you.
Can I? So Bridget Everett, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay. Now I don't want to be an old douche, but that show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, has had everyone from Dave Chappelle to Chris Rock to
Eddie Murphy, on and on. Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore of comedy, right? When you go to Netflix and you skim past it, it has Bridget Everett as the box, the square. When you can find that, I've been doing comedy for 30 years, and I see it, and I go, I don't know who that is.
Right.
And then someone young next to me goes, she does a thing on a thing. I don't need a picture of her. I need the Netflix front page with her on it. I'm saying you have 30 household name, recognize the face from across the room.
All generations will recognize too.
And then you have chubby blonde chick who doesn't ring a bell unless you take a deep dive into Netflix something. And I just keep going, how did they land? If you took every comedian from Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee and you just showed me their headshot, I'd go, that's who that is, that's Jeff Altman, that's that guy, that's that. And if you put her picture in front of me, I'd go, I don't recognize this person.
Right.
How does that make the cover?
I'm willing to bet, once again, just like with the 8mm thing, there's somebody who went, check the IMDb star rating, and whichever one has the highest star rating at the moment, make their picture the picture on the thing. I'm taking a wild guess here. It's as much as Kiefer and Coke having similar amounts of calories, but that's my guess. Is it's always or an algorithm bullshit thing where it's like, yeah, but she's got shows that are getting viewed. No one's watching Harlem Nights, so don't put Eddie on there. Put someone else.
I know it's not a black thing. It could be a gay or a Coke thing. I haven't decided. It's not a black thing.
She is gay.
There you go.
Oh, see, they could find that Netflix thing. It's there somewhere. Now I can't find it. Well,
I love that you're asking them to pull up the
It constantly
the
rotates.
waiting screen.
Oh, they rotate. All
So right now it's Seth Rogen.
Oh, in Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah.
It was this way for a year.
You're right.
I have
You're right.
no recollection. I listen. People go, she's on that show, that whatever, and it's like, listen. I watch a lot of TV. I interview a lot of people. I watch Entertainment Tonight. I watch TMZ and stuff. I have no idea who this person is.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element probably of he gets accused of having too many dudes and
Right.
not enough diversity or not enough. So if she's a lesbian, husky, and a female, that'll go a long
That
way.
ticks 3 boxes.
We get 3 boxes.
Yeah.
Just like gay, Coke, or black. 3 boxes. Again, thank me later, but use that simple algorithm and you will solve all of life's mysteries. All right. Let me give you a plug, Dan. Dinner with the Parents, currently available to stream on Amazon, Freevee. And what else should we plug for you, Dan? I mean, no social media, right?
No, I did a during the writer's strike. I did a friend and I did a podcast, but a narrative podcast where we played characters running a podcast, basically like a Peabody and Sherman meets Drunk History thing. Where my friend and I, he's a historian and I'm a scientist, and we've invented a radio telescope that can listen to old sound. So you get Abraham Lincoln pining for a better speech than the Gettysburg Address type of thing.
Right.
And we just brought in all of our improv friends to sit around and fuck around for a day and create a bunch of scenes. So Mr. Johnson's Time Machine is a podcast that I did. It's about the only stuff I had to pitch right now is Dinner with the Parents and Mr. Johnson's Time Machine, which is the first thing I've ever done in my life, this podcast, where I was completely in control of the creative process because we did it at my house. And and because I have no social media, there's no way to tell anybody it exists. So it's really an endeavor of...
where do we find that? Wherever you find
wherever you
podcasts?
wherever you get your shitty podcasts, that's where you can get my podcast. But I'll put it up there.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
going to be in Levittown at Governor's doing stand-up there Friday and Saturday, doing 3 shows. 1 Friday, 2 on Saturday. And you can just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. And until next time, this is Adam for Dan and Joe saying mahalo.